He's one of the most powerful and secretive leaders on the planet. But what does he drive? Forget supercars and luxury imports. Hidden away is a garage worth over $90 million, filled with machines you've never seen before. This isn't a collection for show, it's a fleet built for survival. What is the mysterious beast that forms the heart of his empire on wheels? Official state and primary vehicles. Aurus Senat limousine. In the shadowy world of global power, a leader's true character is often revealed not in their words, but in their machines. And for Vladimir Putin, a man defined by secrecy and an iron will, no machine is more telling than the one he trusts with his life, the Aurus Senat limousine. This is not merely a car, it is a statement. A rolling fortress born from a multi-billion-dollar national project to declare Russia's independence from the West. Forget the decadent luxury of a Rolls-Royce or the sleek engineering of a Mercedes Maybach. The Senat is something else entirely, a vehicle engineered for one supreme purpose: absolute survival. Its very existence is a narrative of national ambition, a metallic embodiment of the man who commands it. We are about to dissect the most secretive, most technologically advanced, and most politically charged limousine on the planet. From its VR9 level armor capable of withstanding a direct assault from armor-piercing rounds, to its sealed interior designed to emerge unscathed from a chemical attack, every kilogram of its staggering 9,000-pound frame speaks of a world of constant threats. It is a paradox of engineering, a behemoth powered by a nearly 600-horsepower hybrid V8, capable of explosive speed despite its immense weight. But to only see the armor is to miss the point. The Senat's true power lies in its symbolism. It is the centerpiece of a fleet valued in the tens of millions, the enigmatic beast that leads a motorcade, a mobile command center that tells a story of a fortress Russia, projecting an image of unyielding strength and impenetrable resolve. Aurus Senat sedan. While its longer sibling, the limousine, commands parades and captures headlines, the true workhorse of power operates with a quieter, more pervasive authority. This is the Aurus Senat sedan. It is the apex predator in a world where discretion is as valuable as strength. Don't let its familiar four-door shape fool you. This is every bit the fortress that the limousine is, simply refined into a more agile, more deployable package. It shares the same DNA, the same brute force hybrid V8 heart, the same VR9 level armor that laughs off direct threats, and the same hermetically sealed cabin that serves as a mobile panic room. But its power is in its adaptability. This is the vehicle that blends into a motorcade, that moves through city streets without the overwhelming presence of the limousine, yet offers the same absolute protection for its high-ranking occupant. The sedan is not a lesser version, it is a more practical evolution of the same terrifying concept. It is the daily driver for the inner circle, the vehicle for generals and ministers who require the full might of the state's protection without the symbolic weight of the flagship limo. Its value lies in its terrifying normalcy. From the outside, it is a profoundly imposing and luxurious sedan, but one that can, in an instant, become an unstoppable, impregnable shield. It is the definitive statement that in modern Russia, supreme security is no longer reserved solely for the man at the very top, but is now a privilege that can be extended, a symbol of status within a protected hierarchy. Aurus Commandant SUV. Mercedes-Benz S600 GAZ Pullman, gifted. Before the Aurus, there was another. A symbol of a different era, a time of complex diplomacy and intertwined interests. This is the Mercedes-Benz S600 GAZ Pullman, and its story in Putin's garage is one of the most intriguing. It stands as a stark contrast to the nationalistic statement of the Russian-made Aurus fleet. This vehicle, a masterpiece of German engineering, was reportedly a personal gift from former German Chancellor Gerhard Schroeder. That single fact transforms it from a mere automobile into a permanent artifact of a geopolitical relationship that has since shattered. The S600 GAZ Pullman was, in its day, the pinnacle of secure mobility. Its armor was legendary, its comfort unparalleled. It represented a bridge to the West, a token of trust and high-level access. To accept such a gift was to accept a role within a certain world order. But today, this Mercedes exists as a relic. It is a ghost in the machine of Putin's current fleet. Its presence raises profound questions. Is it kept as a trophy of a past connection? A reminder of what was, or perhaps of what was always perceived as an illusion? While the Aurus Senat screams national self-sufficiency and isolation, the silent, black Mercedes whispers a different story, one of summits, handshakes, and a time when a Russian leader could be gifted the very best from Berlin. It is a chapter closed, a steel and leather symbol of a relationship now frozen in time, sitting silently as a monument to a diplomacy that has long since turned to ice. ZIL 41047, former official car. Before the German engineering of the Mercedes or the nationalistic pride of the Aurus, there was a different beast that carried the weight of the Kremlin. This is the ZIL 41047, the final, thunderous echo of the Soviet Empire on wheels. In its day, this was the ultimate symbol of untouchable power within the Eastern Bloc, a colossal, hand-built limousine reserved exclusively for the Politburo's highest echelons. For a young Vladimir Putin, rising through the ranks of the KGB and later the Kremlin, this vehicle was not just a car, it was the physical manifestation of the system he served. Its sheer, imposing size, its crude, fuel-thirsty V8 engine, and its modest, by today's standards, armor plating represented a different philosophy of power, not sleek or discreet, but overwhelming and blatant. To ride in a ZIL was to be seen, to announce your status in the rigid, unforgiving hierarchy of the Soviet state. Now, the ZIL 41047 sits as a retired relic, a ghost from a bygone era. But its spirit is absolutely essential to understanding Putin's current fleet. The Aurus Senat is not merely a new car, it is the direct ideological successor to the ZIL. It answers the same need for a sovereign, imposing, national limousine, but updated for the 21st century. Where the ZIL was a blunt instrument of the state, the Aurus is a precision tool. The ZIL represented the power of a collective system, while the Aurus embodies the power concentrated in one man. It is the bridge between the empire that was and the empire that is, a reminder that the aesthetics of power may evolve, but its imperative for a dominant, self-reliant symbol on wheels remains utterly unchanged. GAZ M21 Volga, 1956 model, gifted. Amidst the brutalist armor and political statements, there is a car in Putin's collection that tells a different, more personal story. This is the 1956 GAZ M21 Volga. Not a weapon, not a fortress, but a rolling piece of national soul. In the post-war Soviet Union, the Volga wasn't just a car, it was a dream. It represented a new era of modernity and modest prosperity, the ultimate achievement for a Soviet engineer or a mid-level state official. Its iconic shark-nosed grille and graceful curves made it an instant classic, a symbol of Soviet pride and industrial capability. This particular car, a beautifully restored example, was gifted to Putin by his then Deputy Prime Minister, Dmitry Rogozin. On the surface, it was a birthday present. But on a deeper level, it was a gift of shared identity, a perfectly curated piece of collective memory. So why does this specific car matter in a garage of armored behemoths? Because it is a masterclass in political imagery. The GAZ 21 Volga is the antithesis of the Aurus. Where the Aurus is a declaration of isolated, impregnable power, the Volga is a bridge to the people. It evokes a sense of shared history, of a simpler, more heroic past. When Putin is seen with this car, he is not the remote czar in his limousine. He is a man of the people, connected to their struggles and their triumphs. It is a powerful, deliberate nostalgia play, reminding citizens of a storied national past while implicitly positioning himself as the guardian of that legacy. In a collection designed to project strength, the unassuming Volga might just be the most strategically important vehicle of them all. GAZ M21 Volga, 1960 model, personal. While the gifted 1956 Volga is a polished piece of nostalgia, this car, the 1960 GAZ M21 Volga, is something far more personal. This is not a restored symbol, this is a preserved relic. It is reported to be the actual car, his personal car, from his time as a KGB officer in Dresden, East Germany. This changes everything. This vehicle is not about curated political imagery, it is about personal history. The faint scratches in the paint, the worn spot on the steering wheel, the smell of old leather and petrol, these are not recreations. They are the authentic artifacts of a young, ambitious intelligence officer navigating the shadowy corners of a divided Cold War Europe. This car wasn't chosen for him, he chose it. It was his tool, his cover, his private space in a world of constant surveillance and deception. In a garage filled with machines that scream, "Power!" this humble Volga whispers. Origin story. It is the direct, tangible link to the man Putin was before he became the figurehead. It speaks of a time of service, not command, of anonymity, not global recognition. Where the armored Aurus fleet is designed to be an impenetrable shell, this Volga is an open book. It is the key to understanding the self-made mythos of the KGB man who never really left that identity behind. It is the most human object in his entire collection, and therefore, perhaps, the most enigmatic of all. It doesn't just represent Russian history, it is Vladimir Putin's history, parked silently in the corner, a monument to the man he wants the world to believe he still is at his core. GAZ 21P Volga, 1965 model, gifted. Completing the trilogy of Volgas is this, the 1965 GAZ M21P. At first glance, it seems like just another classic. But look closer. This is the export model, the P standing for Pobeda, victory, but representing a very specific ambition, to present Soviet engineering to the world. With its updated, more aggressive grille and often two-tone paintwork, this was the face of a modern, outward-looking USSR. This particular car was a gift from a pivotal, and now deeply controversial, figure, former Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych. That single fact layers this beautiful object with immense political weight. It was gifted during a time of closer though strained ties, a symbol of fraternal alliance between Moscow and Kiev. Today, this Volga is a fossil from a fractured relationship. It is a monument to a failed partnership, a gleaming reminder of a political project that ended in revolution and war. Where the personal 1960 Volga speaks to Putin's past, and the gifted 1956 model to a shared Soviet nostalgia, this 1965 export model tells a story of geopolitics. It represents a bridge that was not just crossed, but burned. Its presence in the collection is a silent, cold testament to what was once hoped for, and what was ultimately lost. It is no longer just a car, it is a trophy of a different kind, a beautiful, haunting relic of a relationship that now exists only in history books and in the quiet of a guarded garage. GAZ M20 Pobeda, 1955 model, gifted. Before the Volga, there was the Pobeda. And its name says it all. Victory. This 1955 GAZ M20 Pobeda is more than a car, it is a rolling monument. It was the first Soviet automobile designed not before the war, but after it, born from the ashes and steel of a devastated nation. Its iconic shape, a single, rounded form from headlight to tail, was a declaration of a new, modern future, a piece of optimism forged in unimaginable hardship. To own a Pobeda was to possess a piece of that hard-won victory, a symbol of the nation's collective resilience, and its defiant step into a new era. This specific car, a gift from Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, was a profoundly symbolic choice. Lukashenko's gift was not random. In presenting this victory car, he was making a powerful statement of allegiance. He was connecting his own rule to the core, heroic mythology of the Soviet Union, a mythology that Putin himself has tirelessly championed. The Pobeda is the primordial ancestor of the entire Russian auto industry, the humble beginning from which the mighty Aurus eventually grew. In Putin's collection, it serves as the foundational artifact. It is the historical justification for everything that came after, a tangible link to the greatest generation that lends historical weight and legitimacy to the modern projection of power. It whispers that today's strength is built upon yesterday's sacrifice, and that the path from the Pobeda to the Aurus is the natural, rightful progression of a victorious nation. Lada Niva. Classic model. And then, there is this. The Lada Niva. In a collection valued in the tens of millions, populated by armored fortresses and diplomatic trophies, this is the ultimate paradox. It is the anti-Aurus. There is no armor, no hybrid V8, no sealed cabin. It is simple, lightweight, and brutally functional. But its value is not measured in rubles or security ratings. Its value is purely ideological. The Niva is the Soviet-era folk hero, the people's car. That could go anywhere. It was the workhorse for scientists, farmers, and doctors in the most remote corners of the USSR, beloved for its indestructible simplicity. This is why Putin is so frequently photographed with it. The Niva is his most powerful prop. It projects an image of rugged self-reliance, of a leader who hasn't lost the common touch. While the Aurus screams, "I am your untouchable leader," the Niva whispers, "I am still one of you." It is a carefully crafted piece of political theater, a direct line to the mythology of the hardy Russian soul. It completes the narrative of his garage. The Pobeda represents the victorious past, the Volga's the nostalgic soul, the Aurus the powerful present, and the Lada Niva the timeless, earthly connection to the motherland itself. It is the simplest car here, and perhaps the most complex in its purpose.